totally do that. I will then welcome you to the very first session of Iron Gods. Amazing.
You should have said welcome to the very last session of Iron Gods.
Well, that's yet to be confirmed, but it might be.
Okay.
Who knows? Well, before we did the first session here, we've already done a bunch of stuff. Essentially, you as the party have decided to help Torch with its many problems. Among them, that the torch has gone out, and of course that Connor Bane, one of the councilmen, is missing. So you've somehow found your way together, which was discussed in the introduction video, and now you've decided to go to the town hall to make everything official. The town hall is a square brick building, not really as ostentatious as town halls tend to be, but it's still marked pretty clearly, with a big sign, Town Hall, on top of it. There are quite a few people in the sort of lobby area, most of them simply voicing their worries by complaining to the secretary about how everything is terrible and why the council isn't doing more, who repeatedly exclaims that they are doing everything they can. You arriving in the lobby area is a rather welcome distraction for him, as he sees your intentions rather clearly and ushers you essentially directly towards a different room, to which we will switch now.
All right. Room switch.
Your donkeys are, however, not allowed in the town hall.
Well, I'm the campaign over.
My folding pole, no!
This torch hates donkeys, so...
All my camping supplies.
No, how
carry everything I own on.
Ooh. Pretty.
The room you enter, or the room you're led to, the secretary knocks, you hear a single voice shouting that you should enter. And the room you enter is surprisingly homely for a council chamber. It's hardly a chamber, as it's more like a medium-sized room with a bunch of desks with different states of clutter on top of them. And there is just a single person here. Someone who might be recognized most definitely by Zarin, the Councilwoman Dogga Freddet, who is a rather old dwarf and used to be at least a good friend of Connor's.
Look at how adorable she is.
Adorable? She looks like she's about to rip my head off.
Yes, adorable. That's how you identify adorable, right?
Adorable might not be the first adjective that you would use for Dogga.
My character is still learning.
It is how I would imagine Pimien's wife.
Yes, he needs to.
You're going on a what?
I'm not even old.
He's like, oh, darling, I need to. It's very terribly important,
Okay.
really.
So, walk in there, she's... Looks like there's a chair beneath her, and she's, like, rotated to, like, look at us.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright.
Also worth noting that on her desk, taking up most of the space, is a stuffed dire badger. And next to her desk lays a two-handed warhammer.
So it does.
She is old and small, but there might have been things done in her past that
She could probably
justify these
defeat all
things.
of us in single combat right now. Zarin will, like, blink as he looks around, trying to find, like, if she's facing this way, then maybe we should sit, like, over here. Or, like, he, like, looks over at the chairs to his left.
She smiles at you and says, "Oh, well, sit over there, please. I know it's not exactly ideal for a conversation, but it will do."
Zarin will, like, move down the row. Like, sit down.
I can already think why the five of you would come to me, and I suppose, she sighs dramatically, that at this point there's not much point in me trying to convince you not to go anymore, Zarin, is there?
Unless you have found another group suitable for traveling beneath Torch, Councilwoman. How do I address her? Like, what is her, like, fucking title? Like,
Councilwoman would work.
okay.
Or she does...
Counselor?
Counselor would work as well.
Okay.
Although you would know that she doesn't mind just being called by her first name.
Okay. Oh. Zarin will be polite. That's what Conair taught him.
She will also gesture to the person in the back. just standing at the door.
Shonda is, leaning against the wall. She's looking at her. You said you had a job, yes?
She shrugs at your obvious displeasure with the chair. Yes, straight to the point, I suppose. As you might have heard at this point, and I would be very surprised if you hadn't, because the whole town is abuzz with rumors aplenty, the torch has gone out and Councilman Connor is missing. To give you the exact details that might not be available in rumors is that after the torch has just, stopped working, Connor decided to check out the Weeping Pond to check if it has become more toxic. I'm not sure how he made that connection from the torch going out and the pond being toxic, but he has his science and things. And once he went there, he found footprints going into the pond, but none leading out again, which, one thing I assume led to another. He jumped in and found a passage to a cave system that he really didn't know about before. None of us did. He was, of course, very excited and decided to, eventually investigate. Although a group of halflings that were passing through here, they managed to get the first dive into the cave. They, of course, wanted to save the town and reignite the torch and all those things, but they didn't return. Then Connor went, and, he was the only one who led a group that actually returned. He wasn't gone long because he found something that very much interested him, a humanoid automaton that he wanted to investigate. It wasn't working. He stored it somewhere in his house, I'm pretty sure. Dogga smiles at the reaction of that.
And he said nothing of the other expeditions? No trace?
He did not find them, no. He did, however, find something that very much excited him. He found something that he described in his notes as a smooth metal wall, made out of the same materials that we mined from these hills. However, this is most definitely an artificial construction. He wanted to investigate more after, bringing the automaton home, and eventually, of course, his group went back down there, but did not return. So, to come back to the job, it would be as follows, with the first primary objective being to find out what happened to Connor. Of course, the secondary objective would be to maybe find out what happened to the torch, but I'd much rather find out what happened to a friend rather than, try to find a way to, again, pay the taxes for the Technic League.
Counselor, did Connor ever figure out who left the tracks in front of the entrances to the caves?
I do not think he did. There's nothing in his notes, and the few things that we talked after his first expedition, he only mentioned critters and vermin, and, he did talk about some sort of humanoids living down there. But he was pretty sure that they were just doing just that, living down there, and didn't actually come from the town.
Connor, slants a brow. Humanoids.
Something about a chameleon-like humanoid race that he thinks comes from the Underdark. He did think that the caves down below Torch did have some sort of connection to the Underdark, but he didn't really go after that train of thought too much because the metal wall interested him much more. It is certainly a mystery what exactly is in those caves, whether it be Underdark creatures or who knows what kind of constructions there might be. So, of course, you are probably also interested in why you should do these things. I know that maybe not all of you would just do it out of the good of your heart. We did advertise a reward for groups who would agree to head down there and investigate, although we have stopped advertising that as much because, well, some of the local thugs decided to get together and make a quick buck, which of course ended in them also disappearing. I would like to stress that if you go down there, you better make sure that you are ready for everything. But the reward, of course. We, the council, have agreed to pay 4,000 gold pieces if you can find out what happened to Connor. Preferably bring some sort of proof, of course. His body, preferably, so we could bury that as well. In addition to that, an additional 4,000 gold pieces should you, through some miracle, be, well, able to reignite the torch.
Pimian says, "Oh, any monetary reward is quite secondary to meeting a man of science like Connor, or reactivating such a wonderful marvel such as the torch, but, of course, that will be quite satisfactory."
She frowns a bit. Connor has been gone for a couple of days now, and while I do think that he is quite capable of doing many things, at this point it is... She pauses, looks at Zarin. Almost safe to assume that he too didn't make it.
Zoran's face twitches and he says, "Remind me, Counselor, where are the entrances to these caves?"
The entrance is in the, well, bottom of the Weeping Pond, a rather uncomfortable affair to get into there. But I do believe that Jerem, who... She looks to one of the desks. I'm currently not sure where he is. I think he's out trying to somehow, well, organize the town, or at least prevent them from throwing their rubbish into the Crowfeather Pond instead of where they're supposed to throw. You see, well, I'm getting off track. The entrance to the cave is below in the Weeping Pond. Jerem can assist you in getting down there. The swim is uncomfortable, but Connor has made it twice now, well, 3 times technically, and he managed, so I'm sure you will too.
I will guide the others into checking around the Crowfeather Palace area. Is there any other assistance the council can provide us in our search for Connor?
She nods. Yes, of course. This is, of course, not just something the council wants, but rather the entire town. The merchants have agreed to give any group who officially wants to attempt anything to investigate and perhaps solve the town's problems a discount of 10%. I will give you a written writ, and that should be enough proof that you have indeed accepted this mission. In addition to that, she pauses, stands up, goes over to a box at one of the other desks. I do believe Jerem will not mind if I do this. I know it's... She rummages through the box, something of his toys, but she pulls out a metal box with mostly colored, a reddish colored metal box that she takes and gives over to you. It is about like 20 centimeters by 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. Has a little handle that she gives to, well, probably Rofa here. It says, "These are some medical supplies in case, well, chances are you will encounter at least some resistance of the critters down there. Should you get injured, this should help you."
Look in the box.
The box, in mechanical terms, is a trauma pack. I will give you the essential stat block of that in a moment here.
Trauma pack. Holy shit, it begins already, folks.
Smash it.
Quickly.
So we cause trauma to the box, right?
That's how it
Yeah.
works.
Smash it on my face.
That's how I heal myself.
Well, he'll look at it and sort of frown because he has no idea what he's looking at. And he'll look at someone else like, "Does anyone know how to abuse this sort of thing?"
Pimian looks over and says, "I should be able to work it out."
Put his big hand down to little Pimian.
Yeah, Pimian will like reach up and grab it.
Yeah, anyone who has the heal
Begin
skill
inspecting.
trained... Anyone who has the heal skill trained should be able to easily recognize some of the things in there.
Now, does a failed usage of it still consume one of the uses, Sheep?
Yes.
Okay.
On the definition of trained, if I have a point in it, but it's not a class skill, is it still trained?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, let me double.
Because
check
I know
the
that when
question
it's a
graph.
class skill and you put a point in it, the +3 is the trained bonus, technically. So I don't know.
No, trained just means you have a point in the skill.
Okay.
And yes, a failed skill check will still need a charge of it.
Okay.
Dogga looks back at you from her chair. I'm sure there might be something I forgot, but... Well, I did tell you most things. I told you that it's dangerous, and I told you that I'd really like you to succeed.
Seems like that's about all we need to know, doesn't it?
Remind me, Counselor, there was the group of halflings, there was the locals, as you called them, thugs, Conir's expedition, of course. There was another group, and then Connor's second expedition?
There was another group, yes. It was an adventuring group. Similar to you bunch, I suppose, from out of town. They, I believe, went in after Connor disappeared.
All right.
And they, of course, too, did not return.
Let's see if we will.
Zarin stands up. I shall lead the others then in search of Joram so that we can get started, Counselor.
Yes, please do. And, Zarin, one more thing. Please do make sure that Vel does not follow you.
Zarin says, well, I suppose that I should visit the Foundry Tavern then before we go. He looks over to the others. We should be able to rest in the night there after our expeditions into the caves anyway, as Connor is not around and the tavern is closed. You can take a look at your temporary home until we complete our mission here.
Sounds good.
Get up.
Simeon nods, but he's still kind of poking through the trauma pack for a sec. Before he stands up also.
All right, Zarin will walk down the row and then head for the door.
We'll follow him.
We know where that inn is?
We
Yeah,
probably don't. Soren does.
It's my character's home. Okay, then sheep. I reckon I will lead these out-of-towners out of the counselor's chambers, away from the town hall, and begin walking down, I suppose, that main thoroughfare there, heading for the Foundry Tavern.
You can certainly do that. I will move your tokens to the map. If you don't want to do it yourselves.
Dogga is eaten by the blackness.
There's someone missing? Yeah, okay.
Come on, Donkey the Third.
What happened to the second donkey?
Don't ask about the second donkey.
We don't talk about that donkey.
Yeah, you can make your way to the Foundry Tavern easily enough. There isn't too much activity on the streets. Most of the activity really is in the town hall, with people being angry at the secretary for no apparent reason.
Well, it's a secretary. Of course people are angry.
I think the reason is quite apparent.
It is so odd to see the streets so quiet. I think at least 1/4 of the population of this entire town is standing within the town hall.
And half the ruffians have already died trying to go down that pond, it seems.
Yes, it is understandable why the counselors decided not to advertise the rather extensive reward being offered.
It is quite something. I do suspect that they are quite desperate. I don't know Connor Bain myself, but from what little I've heard of him, he seems like a great man for the community.
He has helped Torch and myself greatly.
Simeon goes, oh well, if he's still alive, I should very much like to meet him. I'm sure there is much we can learn.
I agree.
I'm sure it'll all be fine.
We shall see. I know his capabilities. Anything that could have defeated him, or at least prevented his return to Torch, would have been an imposing challenge indeed.
Was he much of a fighter, or was he more of an inventor?
He worked magic as well as metal.
Was he quite powerful in those magics, or?
Zarin shrugs, still walking, more powerful than I.
No, no.
Dum 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 dum.
You can certainly reach the Foundry Tavern easily enough.
All right.
It is,
How
of
does it
course,
look?
The Foundry Tavern, well, essentially is a collection of 3 buildings. One of them is, of course, the Foundry. The other one is, of course, the Tavern, with the third one being Connor's, well, and Zarin's and Vel's private home. It is not exactly the largest place, but it does have a decent atmosphere to it. There was certainly a lot of thought spent in actually making it look homely, even from the outside.
Does it have any interesting signage?
There is just essentially a sign calling the tavern building the Foundry Tavern. The
Okay.
Foundry itself is apparent enough, since there's always light from the big furnaces going through one of the big windows in the front.
Okay.
And as you arrive, or rather get close enough to hear anything coming from the tavern, what you hear is not exactly what you would expect, as it is a high-pitched, ear-piercing scream that Zarin can easily pinpoint to coming from Val.
Zarin will immediately say, Val, and he will take off sprinting in direction of the scream.
Male or female?
Ruther will quirk an eye and
Female.
quickly follow Zarin. He probably knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, if someone is screaming at the top of her lungs, we should probably investigate.
Yeah, I'll go after them.
That'll probably be fine.
The screaming is followed by the sounds of crashing and ripping and other things as you arrive at the scene. I'll move you there.
All right.
I hope I set up vision blocking. I did. It's amazing.
You're so clever.
Oh God!
All the fractal lines.
Yeah.
So many windows.
Stand back, donkey.
The screaming continues and seems to come from the home part of the 3 buildings to the north.
Zarin
All
will
in the
draw
back.
draw his great sword and then say, follow me.
All right. Well, if weapons are coming out, Chandala will sling her rifle.
Are we
over her
still able to
shoulder.
narratively move? Or are we
We will essentially enter combat right here.
Okay.
I was about to say, like, she's like fell in the tub, and we all like rush in with
Yeah, kicking in the doors with weapons.
shooting as soon as we open it.
She saw a
Yeah,
spider.
fucking
Eyes
roads.
are trolling
She
us.
accidentally made the water way too hot, and she like goes to step in, and she's like, ah!
She really
Like,
doesn't
drill
like
them all.
spiders. And,
And it appears that I have rolled a 1 on my initiative. All right.
you know, Sarin is. What the?
It
Have
would
you
be.
got the scene already, or? I'm just seeing
He's-
the black screen still.
Oh,
Oh, here we go.
would be Kainrik's turn to move first. The screams are most definitely coming from the north, from this building here.
Well, could move some over here so I could take a look into the passage.
Go for it.
Okay, let me try to fix the thing here. That made it worse. But essentially, if you look at here, you don't see anything.
Huh.
Yeah.
No dust clouds or anything like that. No.
No, nothing that would indicate any sort of activity or movement at all.
I can't really move that much more, so probably someone else's turn.
You could double move.
I probably should go in first.
Okay.
Yeah, don't listen to God's suggestion. Don't go
Charge
in
in front, like unarmed.
Go, sorcerer, for the good of the city.
Thus serve the flaming fist.
Professor
will-
Pimian.
The good professor will pull out a short bow that he doesn't look all too proficient with. He kind of looks at it unsettling. Well, not unsettlingly, but like he's like, I hope I don't have to really use this. And then moves up to cover the other corner. Kind of peeks up.
Okay. I fixed the vision too.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh God.
Pimian, come back.
The screams do continue. It's not a constant scream, but more like every occasionally another high-pitched scream. Rahal.
So move and draw his great sword as he just sort of moves forward, double moves.
You have Bab of 1, you motherfucker.
Well, yeah.
The power of Bab.
I know. How dare you have Bab of 1, being able to draw weapons while moving.
Such advantage at level 1.
I know. What cheats?
You
Hacksaws.
cheater.
Well, Jean-Luc will call up to Rothor and ask if he sees anything as she sort of moves up after him.
Nothing.
Alright,
Well, nothing.
Alright, she will take off at a sprint in that case. Her rifle out. And up here. Running past Rothor. Coming up here, that's the door I assume. She's gonna run up the door and basically try to crash into it as she tries to open it.
Okay, the door opens. And running past those two windows, you see three things. Splinters, the automaton going completely bonkers, ripping at the walls, and Val trying to scramble away on her back.
Alright, Jean-Luc will shout back, there's some sort of thing ripping at the walls! She goes here. I think
Be
that's...
careful.
I think that's basically how far I'm gonna move. CAD. I can move a few more. Going here. Can you point, Sheep, where exactly I saw?
I can't only point, I can show you, because these two doors are open at this... Oops, that was not the right tool.
Opposite of open.
The doors close in front of your face.
Man, it was the right place you ran to.
Yeah, you see a young girl currently being prone on her back, trying to scramble away from the, somewhat humanoid, four-legged metal thing currently ripping at the walls.
Look at that thing. Jean will shout at her, Get out of the way! And she sort of levels her rifle towards that thing, and yeah, that's my turn.
She will scream back, well, that's exactly what I'm trying right now! Darren.
Okay, as a free action, I'm going to drop whatever focus I have equipped, and as a swift action, I'm going to adopt the stag focus. Dun, 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 dun.
Run like the wind, Saren.
Which will give me an extra 5 movement speed. And I suppose I'm going to run. Let's see, that would be a total of 100 feet. Not even going to bother to draw my weapon. Zaren's going like... Basically, he's gonna get to here as he's running the straight thing. Let's see here. Well, he doesn't see anything immediately, so he's not gonna run through one of the windows.
You'll see the door being open. And
yep, I see Shonda a little bit. I will continue to run the rest of the way, and I'm not gonna move anything further. Yeah, here I am, all swaddled up here in comfort. Yep, that's the end of my turn.
In these snug passages.
So snug.
It's my turn, I guess.
Yep.
Well, I can drop my backpack over here, which I've been carrying. I guess.
Should put that on my donkey, honestly.
Well, I guess I did that earlier.
I just met you, and this is crazy, so have my backpack.
So I can move 30 feet, and is that all, or?
In a normal move action, yes, you can move up to your base speed. You can translate your standard action into a move action to move twice, basically, or you can do a full round action and run up to 4 times.
Which is what Jonas's character and my character have done.
Yep.
That does have the caveat, though, that if you get attacked, you don't get your dexterity bonus to your armor class.
Yep.
And people can also sneak attack you if they do that sort of thing.
So running's not always the best idea,
Like
but if you
have a lot of dex, it's risky to run in. I didn't think of it, otherwise I probably would have. But...
I will move towards the building, and I guess I will ready my crossbow, which I have, a light crossbow, and yeah, just guess I will save that other move and wait and see what happens.
Okay. Val will continue trying to scramble away. Damian.
Yeah. Well, Pimian, being the chivalrous man that he totally isn't, wants to see. He's not so much interested in saving the maiden anymore as he hears that there's a robot.
That's not entirely what Shonda said.
Wants to save the robot.
Shonda said there was a thing.
He moves up to here and he's like, "Oh, I was hoping to see it through one of the windows."
I like seeing things.
And gets to there, and sadly, he still can't see it. But I double moved, so I can't even prepare an attack or whatever. I wanted to shoot through a window, but when it moved across, but oh well, that's what I got.
Rollfall.
I can't see anything else, but I can hear that there's some people talking over here, so I'll double move here.
Okay.
Well, Shonda seeing a lot of people behind her out there, and all of them carrying huge weapons, she will take a 5 step back, leveling her rifle and shooting the damn thing.
All right.
Well, that'll probably attract his attention over
I assume it will, yes. Actually, I'm not gonna 5 step. I'm actually just gonna, because I don't need full attack because I'm level 1. Haha, I'm just gonna go back in the corner here. And, and I'm gonna shoot this thing, and we're gonna do power deadly aim because why not?
That most definitely hits the metallic humanoid creature and takes a good chunk of metal with it, as it now stands only on 2 legs anymore.
Gunpowder smoke hanging heavy in the corridor.
Zarin, peeking his head around the corner. I think it's the automaton.
The what?
The automaton that the counselor described. The robot drone thing that Kanye brought back from his first expedition.
Of course. Gee.
Bad luck, those things. Monsters in their own right.
What does the repair drone do in the face of this, incredible gunpowder assault?
The repair drone does 2 things. First of all, a garbled metallic voice emerges from its lack of mouth that Pimian can in fact understand. It says something along the lines of, "Please do not interfere with repairs," and charges.
I do not have my weapon drawn, so if it's going to charge past me, I don't have an attack of opportunity.
Oh no!
Will indeed do that.
My plan failed.
He stands back a little. Up.
Whoop, whoop.
Yes,
Let's not get away with that.
I'd say I'm unarmed and I don't have an improved unarmed strike.
That is definitely a hit.
It immediately stops ripping at the walls and swings its arms at Chandala instead.
That's
or Chandala, sorry.
Zarin will use a move action to go ahead and draw his greatsword, having seen this thing flash back, and thinking of like the danger that like his sister is like put in, and then like this thing having cornered like a human who's apparently going to help him save Conair. It's move action to do that. 5-foot step here. Free action to drop my stag focus, and a swift action to adopt my bowl focus. And then a standard action. I'm gonna try and attack this thing, and the face back hole thing. Yeah, you're fucked, buddy. I have an attack framework macro. Look at that. Look at me missing.
That does hit it.
Oh wow.
And it is enough to disable it to the point of uselessness.
All right. Zarin, fully motivated, will slide back behind the thing since it's cornered the human, and take out his greatsword in the very limited like confines of his house. Just like silently and efficiently like begin hacking the thing into pieces.
With the threat dispatched, combat is over. As Val peeks around the corner and says,
Step up and kick it.
Connor's not going to like that,
Zarin rotates his head and like stares at his sister like, would you repeat that, sister?
Shonda, like, slowly, grimacingly pulls out the, like, steel spear she was skewered with, from her torso or something.
Gonna back away and allow, like, other people in. And,
She's
move over to his sister.
grits her teeth. Oh, 7 hells, that hurts.
Get off me!
You're
I'm
right.
just a halfling!
I'm trying.
Okay.
Kick the machine around, trying to like stand on one leg and like sever them from the main body.
Shonda doesn't
And
like.
it's like, let me pass, I wish to inspect it.
She takes a step onto it, over it, and basically out here, and like, ugh,
Make
leans
sure
against
it's
the wall.
disabled.
Timian like squeezes
I
into
shot
where
it.
she was.
I shot it quite badly, and I think Saren cut it up pretty fiercely as well. It should be quite dead.
Pimian says, it said, I'm sure you heard it as well. I don't know how much of it you could understand, but it said, do not, I can't remember the word in English. I can't remember the word at all. Interfere, thank you. Do not interfere with repairs. Obviously it was malfunctioning somehow, as it seemed to be trying to repair you.
I didn't hear it say anything. It just screeched at me.
The devil's
Shonda.
eye.
That is a language, my friend. A language in which you seem not to get.
Shonda blinks and says, "That is, if you say so, Professor."
She like peeks her head
In
around the corner.
otherworldly language.
Like, fucking airplane.
No, she just shouts into the house,
Well, ask Shanda if she needs any, or how badly she is hurt.
It hurts quite a bit, but it's not fatal, she says,
Right.
holding at the wound.
Well, if you would want to do Connor a favor, you could at least collect all the parts and put them back. He did want to investigate that thing.
Zarin narrows his eyes. What happened here, Val?
Well, I was doing things that are completely unrelated and completely innocent, I assure you, and that thing started ripping at the walls when I opened the door, and then I screamed, and then you were here. So that was good timing.
The automaton started on its own then.
It hummed and then made some beeping noises, so I came to check, and, well, suddenly it decided that that wall was very much not supposed to be there, and, well...
Zarin crouches down. Are you injured? He begins, like, his eyes, like, beginning to, like, cut over her.
No, I might have fallen on my elbows when I fell over, but the thing didn't attack me.
It is good, then, that we arrived.
Yes, well, and I'll go get the broom, I suppose. He heads off.
Zarin, like, looks back to the others and says, "This is not where we will be sleeping at night. The tavern has far more space to unfurl bedrolls. These are the personal quarters.
Hopefully no more of these things around.
To my knowledge, it is the only one. Unless Connor brought back others. But I think he would have told me."
They say that the angry skies brings the spirits up in them, makes them act this way. Killing machines.
Can I use my knowledge skill to take a look at the automaton? See if I can learn anything from it?
What would you like to learn about it?
Like, if it is, like, what makes it work and such. Maybe, like, just a quick look.
Yep.
It gives me any more information about it.
You could do a knowledge engineering, I suppose.
Yeah, I have 5 in that.
I'll attempt one as well. I'm kind of just right now gathering up the parts like Val suggested because, Connor wanted to take a look at it later.
Maybe take him to a better place to study than like a little narrow hallway.
Yeah. Let's move it first and then we can take a look.
And
Like
study
inside
it.
the tavern.
Mm-hmm. So
Do we need donkeys for this, or is it how heavy
I
is it?
will.
It's rather heavy, but since it's now in parts, because you cut it up, it's easy enough to carry by the few of you. Val eventually returns with a broom and begins up mopping up dust and, well, slight bits of blood from Chandler and other things that were discarded on the floor.
Zoran will sheath his great sword and stand next to Val and says, "The counselor Dogga sent us here, requested that I show up. The group I have recently acquired. We will be traveling into the caves in search of Connor.
So when are we leaving?
You are staying here."
She frowns with the kind of expression that a child would give you when you give the child an answer that it expected but doesn't like.
Zoran blinks and says, "Right, I know. I said the same thing to Connor, and then to Dogga, whenever they both refuse that we go. The point, however, is that we will need someone to watch over this place, for we will be staying at night. That, and from my understanding, there is quite a bit of underwater travel involved, and we will need a magical aid, which can only be... There isn't enough." Zoran kind of
Juice.
shrugs. Yes. Also, I would feel much better if you stayed here. I would not like losing both of you.
She sighs. Yes, of course, you would feel better. Sighs again. I suppose I can take care of the tavern then, even though it's closed and literally the only thing I need to do is nothing but...
Meal would be good.
I kind of
So-
expected her to get really indignant and be like, "Oh yes, you would feel better if you could feel at all," and then
That's great.
great.
Zoran blinks like, "I am only relating the quest of Dogga." He shrugs. "You are, of course, free to do as you like, but considering how severely dangerous the trek is, if Connor has fallen, then..." Sort of trails off, not wanting to think about it either.
She thinks for a moment whether or not she should suggest coming with you, but then just simply nods and says, and points towards the person standing behind the window and says, "If you want a meal, make it yourself. I'll keep things clean, but I'm not your cook. Now let me clean up here and leave."
Can
Mhm.
we move the automaton here
Sure.
also? Awesome.
Zoran will pick it up and carry it out of Val's way so that she can go to cleaning. And Zoran will say, "Mind your manners around the company. They're going to be reigniting the fire that keeps Torch alive.
Oh, I'll believe that when they do it.
Are you doubting me?"
I'm doubting them, and I'm sulking, so go away.
You're so...
That's true.
Zoran feels like he's heard this one before and he's just going to walk away.
Believe that is the definition.
Did Shonda find anything strong to drink, Sheep?
There are drinks in the tavern, yes.
Alright, she's having a drink.
Zoran peeks his head around. Won't say anything. He does not think that Connor will begrudge anyone a drink if he comes back alive.
Yeah.
Probably his least
What
of his
happened to all
problems.
my best stock? I drank it. That's my payment.
Total
You
lush.
mother! I'll kill all of you!
Storm of vengeance!
Holy shit!
And that's how Torch died.
The end.
Oh, I know apparently nothing about this robot. Well, I know very little about this robot.
Do you want me to?
As Pimian kind of picks through the wreckage and sees what he can maybe sort of get out of it.
Okay, Kadun, do you want to roll a check as well?
Yep. Which button was it here?
It is skill check.
Yep.
Big bright blue button.
If you don't find it, I think F7 also works. it looks
F7 is a quick key for it, yes.
Clicked it, waiting it for it to do something.
Did you have your token selected?
Oh, let's roll it then. Let's see, where is the...
Should be knowledge, architecture, and engineering.
If you can't find it. Ah, okay.
There you go.
20. Well, that certainly beats the knowledge check DC. Pimian would recognize that this is indeed what some scholars would call a robot, an automaton that was programmed to do a specific task. Some of them are rather smart and can speak. This one doesn't quite seem that smart. It has,
I'm gonna roll too. Yay!
it has 3 legs, 2 arms, a somewhat humanoid face, and is made out of all kinds of bits of metals and wires and all things. Both Kynric and Zarin would, after, studying this robot, agree that they probably think that this particular kind of robot, at least, would probably very much dislike electricity. In addition to that, if you manage to cut at the right parts of the robot, chances are that you would do a lot of damage, meaning that it is vulnerable to sneak attacks. Is there anything else specifically you would like to know?
Maybe its origins, if I've seen anything like this before.
You've certainly seen similar things in Starfall. The Gearsmen look about as vaguely humanoid as this thing is, although the Gearsmen, of course, have 2 legs and not 3. The origin, you wouldn't be sure.
Well, I will let the rest of the party know what I have learned.
It is certainly unlike anything that you would find in the rest of Golarion.
What
No,
was its function? Shanala says, leaning against the bar, drinking.
Well, Pimian says, well, like I said, it did say in its language that it asked you not to interfere with repairs, so maybe it was some sort of maintenance drone.
Now, before Zarin hit this thing repeatedly, did it even look like it was fully intact? Like when Connor brought it back, it wasn't all together, was it?
A cursory glance would at least have made it look like it was somewhat intact.
Okay.
And it's very hard to tell what exactly was broken before you found it, if anything.
Right, but Connor did bring the damn thing back. So,
Yes, and it was very much inactive.
Okay. Hey, Zarin was saying, I am unsure what would have activated this thing. When Connor brought it back, it was inanimate.
Yeah.
Did our study of it tell us anything about that, or?
No.
Okay.
The steel spirits only possess them sometimes. You least expect it. When they're angered, they will go mad.
Are there anything salvageable from this?
Bits and pieces, but nothing that would be really special.
Yeah, and I think Connor wanted to still study it when if he makes it back, so we should probably just leave it.
Val can pick up the parts and put it in Connor's room. I think she wanted something to do anyway.
Just make sure it's not in a state where it can do this again.
Zarin tilts his head.
I think that's quite been managed already.
I do not think it can repair itself from its current position, considering how effectively it was repairing things anyway.
Pimion points to its head and goes, "Look, lights off. That means we're safe. For now."
For now.
I can shoot it again if it will make you happy. She sort of picks up the rifle, gets closer.
You said there was a special place we could cut it.
Looks like it's already been cut there. Repeatedly.
I am confident this thing will no longer move without assistance.
So I do suspect we will run into more of these things below Torch.
And the
This
city
was brought
does
from there.
indeed need our help.
Just don't stand in front of them when they charge. Ow.
I've faced such things before.
John looks over.
They are cruel beings, hate and malice. Shamans say that spirits inhabit the bodies of these metal things, minerals, made shape of devils.
I have seen similar creatures in the service of some of the Technic League's wizards. She looks down at it.
I have heard much bad of them. I do not doubt that those who put such devils to use would be afflicted by their corruption.
It does have some similarities to the gearsmen that the Technic League employs.
The Technic League are no friends of mine. They wouldn't even let me into Starfall.
If these beings are there, then going there would seem exceedingly dangerous.
Yet we must go down there. It is what the council asks of us, and it is also what they pay us for.
And we could shield innocent citizens from feeling the wrath of these things.
Indeed. And if we can stop some sort of breeding ground for more Technic League minions, the happier I would be. Looking down at the thing.
Why not? Just let's go stomp them out.
Agreed. We were looking for... She sort of looks around. Saren, I suppose we can move some of these tables around to make room for our sleeping bags, yes?
Yes.
She nods. Good, good. Leaves the rifle against the bar, walks out over to Donkey, and gets a lot of like things from it. And she moves back like with sleeping things and other stuff, and like basically puts it down.
I mean, we'll get all his stuff, and then he'll set up like a nice little area in the corner where he can hang his hammock in there.
Luxury.
He's got a bedroll, but he likes to sleep off the
bed. No, it's so luxurious. I love it.
Our belongings should be safe. The tavern will remain closed until Connor's return, and Val will be looking after everything.
And he'll set up like a little working area under the hammock as well.
Yeah, Shonda, you can also see Shonda, like, she takes a table and puts up some very, seemingly quite advanced tools and things from different pouches and, like, boxes and, like, cases she has, and, like, lining them up meticulously on the table. Everything she does, when you look at it, it's very organized, it's very precise. Like, her bedroll is in perfect order, everything is, like, you know, at the right angles. very organized.
Kimmy just kind of chucks his shit down.
Zarin, looking over at Chandala, will cast his eyes towards Pimmy and say, "Professor, why don't you try out the trauma pack that Counselor Dogga gave us on Chandala there," pointing a thumb. She is favoring some wounds, and it would be discourteous not to do something about that.
Yep, Pimion goes, "I was actually just about to suggest the same.
What's your
We'd like to see how well this works. If it seems more reliable to you, I'm also proficient in some weak healing magics."
What's your healing check?
+3. Okay. So I'd need to roll a little bit above average, or I could just use a spell.
You could also potentially just take 20.
Taking 20 would involve failing, like multiple times till you get it right. Yeah. Like he would chew through the entire pack first.
I could take I couldn't take 10 either. I'd have to roll a 12.
Mm.
Take 20
yeah.
is not an option.
Generally isn't where failing
I
has a
have 2
consequence.
first level spells a day. And
How
one
late-
of them is Cure Light Wounds if you want.
How late is it in the day? Are we calling it
Yeah.
a day soon, or?
Next
No,
week for 4 days.
Yeah, I would have to sleep for like 6 days to heal this on my own, so
Uh-huh.
that would be unfortunate.
I mean, you're the one who has the greatest chance of using this thing, so I mean, there's no real
Yeah.
loss
Yeah.
in.
I
I
can't
have it
use
as a
it.
class skill, but I didn't put a point in it.
I
So
can't use it on myself, I think.
Okay, well, I can try it then. Let's see.
I'll move closer to have a better look at this.
Yep.
Procedure.
If anyone thinks they can roll above a 10 on it, I would appreciate the aid.
No,
I'll use. No, I didn't think so.
I mean, can I aid?
Maybe I can use a round of my luck as well to get a +2.
Sure.
there you go.
So is it like a syringe
So
thing,
wait,
or?
actually, I can do that and then take 10. So yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well there you go.
The trauma pack is essentially a box with different kinds of medical supplies, with a strange sort of tape that you can put on the wound and different kind of liquids and syringes.
All right.
A 15 would be enough for the 1d8 plus 1.
Hooray!
8+1. Dun, 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 dun. Because I do not want Jonas's character to go down into this thing at half health.
So now I've got 4 rounds of luck, which will last me for 12 rounds because of lingering performance.
There you go.
Oh, what
That
the
looks-
hell happened to the vision here?
Yeah, I looked over at the left there and I was like, what the shit just transpired? You know, I'm just going to stay focused on the Founder Tavern. 'Cause,
Yeah.
Don't look.
Don't
Don't look over to the left, Grimmith.
That was terrifying to look at. I like looked over like, what the fuck happened to the map? Where did everything go?
It wasn't
The
supposed to
Langoliers.
happen, but it's not a big deal
The
because
world
the
is
things
broken.
there are supposed to be visible to you. in
Well,
fact.
let's go and find this this cleric or other council person
Yes.
that is supposed to find.
I will take you to Crowfeather Palace. Hopefully we shall find Joram there.
Okay, okay. She looks down to him and says, "Well, thanks, Professor."
Yeah, sure thing. If you need any more patching up, I'm always here.
She nods. Well,
Well, the map
best,
is revealed. Great.
best be.
Yeah.
What is?
The text on the left are the things available in the different kinds of shops.
on the left.
On the very
if,
left of the map.
if you look to like the far left of the Foundry Tavern,
Oh,
there's like a little general store and like Temple of Brine and then
Shoot.
Torch Guild
I
House.
assumed so far it was just like a little white blob.
Yeah. And yes, Sheep, in all of your crazy vision fiddling, you have secreted away the actual map of Torch from us.
I will get that
Also,
fixed.
for the record, Sheep, the information for the trauma pack shows the technomancy spell description.
Oh, that's not supposed to be correct, but yeah. I'll get that fixed. But you know how trauma packs work, so that's fine.
Oh, that sword.
If we take all of the money we get from this quest, and
You still won't have enough.
no, you still won't have enough. Oh,
Also, Jake, it doesn't. You have to just make sure that you click on the top one and not the
Oh,
bottom
okay,
one.
yeah, there we go.
I
Well,
like
I was clicking on it, but I think the
You
the
can
click box for the
Yeah.
sell
for the-
android hair.
I love the thing now there. Masterwork Android hair. Short fellow. Like,
who did this? Are we like who?
Human
What?
skin shirt.
Yeah, it's like what is? This is sinister now. I don't. Or is it like Saren has a very long hair, so that's
Yes.
what he does when he like.
so it's also worth noting how expensive those trauma packs normally are.
Oh my yes.
Okay. Well, then I will lead the kids however fucking pain in the ass way you would go to get to the Crowfeather Palace.
Well, to get towards at least Crowfeather Palace, you just kind of follow the smell.
Okay.
Since you have to go north, it is also north towards the Weeping Pond, as well as north to the general north of Numeria, which always brings with it a sort of breeze of sulfur and other things.
Yummy.
But Crowfeather Palace is easy enough to find. As soon as you reach the edge of Crowfeather Pond, which is the pond next to the palace,
Mm-hmm.
you can see the construction. A rather large, well, it's called palace because it kind of looks like a palace with lots and lots of pipes coming out of it and reaching into the pond.
All right. Connor designed this place to purify water for the entire town. Normally, and we will see this when we get to the Weeping Pond, it is very impure.
Sounds horrible.
We will be diving into it in order to reach the caves.
Could be good for you, I suppose.
I highly doubt
Perhaps.
that.
And coming closer to the palace, you do see two people having a discussion there at the moment. And one of them, Zarin does recognize as the Councillor Jorem Kite, dressed
So what-
in his... Sorry?
Is he like the? So he's like the leading like cleric of like the temple here. Do I call him like Clockfather or what?
You would essentially call him by his first name. Essentially all the Councillor, except for one, agree to just being called by their first name. Everything else is just so
Alright.
ostentatious.
So would Clockfather be his like technical title? Is he like the leading priest of the temple here?
He is the leading priest of the temple, yes.
Is
Okay.
is that Jonathan Price?
All right.
Pretty sure it is.
In that case, I think Zarin is going to err on the side of being like inappropriately polite and call him the fucking Clockfather. Perhaps it's a habit that Jorm has been trying to get him out of forever. Okay. Anyway, two people. That's one of them.
The other person, Zarin would again recognize as being the one of the other councillors, Councilwoman, who usually likes to be referred as Councilwoman Miss. I don't have the name.
Councilwoman, miss.
Councilwoman Miss Otterby. She is
Okay.
the only person on the council who refuses to be called by anything other than Miss last name.
Okay.
She is dressed in rather, well, not exactly functional clothing, but rather pretty clothing, as opposed to pretty much everyone in Torch.
That was Councilwoman Miss Otterby.
Miss Otterby, yes.
Okay.
Jerome and her are currently having a rather heated discussion, the topic of which you can't quite make out. As soon as you get close, they both somewhat turn towards you.
Zarin will like extend a hand in like a wave and say, "Good day, Councilwoman Miss Otterby. Good day, Clockfather Councillor Joram Kite."
Jerome looks at each of you, then to Zarin. Well, hello. You? All of you?
Hello.
Zarin will look apologetically and say, "I apologize for interrupting. However, Councillor Dogga has sent us in search of Joram. We seek to travel into the caves beneath Torch, and he has assistance we require. We will be away from you shortly."
Oh, yes, assistance I can indeed provide you, although, well, this discussion really doesn't get us anywhere, so why don't we just walk away and I'll give you that assistance. I needed an excuse to walk away from this woman anyways. Miss Otterby looks shocked.
Zarin has like no reaction on his face and says, "Very well, Clockfather. Let us walk."
Kaineric will make a knowing smile.
He does simply walk away, leaving the woman sitting here.
Brother will give her an ambiguous wink. And although,
What could it mean?
She looks equally as shocked as before because you don't think it's possible that she could look more shocked. He does lead you towards the proper part of town, the road over here.
Okay. You
It says-
go to that road. Wouldn't we have to go around then? Is there?
There is a little bridge from the road over here that leads to the palace.
Right.
Andy.
So I take it that you, Zarin, have finally managed to collect a group and you want to head downstairs, right?
Yes. And Dogga, who had been very insistent up to this point that I not be allowed to travel down there, has finally relented.
It
Took
was
some
only a
time.
matter of time, after all. I agree. If you want to take on this adventure, then you should.
Val wanted to take on the adventure as well. Dogga
Well-
told me that she shouldn't go. I feel as if I've heard that argument.
Yes, maybe she shouldn't, but, well, she's a child. She should be safe for a little while longer, at least, before the pull of adventure finally takes her properly as well.
That may not be correct, Clockfather. The automaton that Connor brought back animated. We returned to find it ripping apart our home.
Yes, they
Oh
do.
my.
Yes. We managed to.
Connor insisted that it would be inactive and wouldn't work. He wanted, in fact, to get it fixed, but apparently it did that for him. How strange.
Perhaps this has to do with all of the mysterious disappearances and the vanishing of the fire, Clockfather. Regardless, Dogga said that you could provide us assistance.
Yes, I can indeed. Since the travel through the Weeping Pond is in equal parts uncomfortable and, well, difficult because it is so uncomfortable, I can give you some assistance in the form of a spell that should allow you to breathe the waters without dangers for, well, 5 hours.
How frequently can you cast this spell, Clockfather?
I can give you this assistance once per day. So if you merely wish to do one expedition down there and do not take longer than 5 hours, then you will not have to worry too much about the pond's waters.
Understood.
Of course, I am only talking about the pond's waters and not the other substances that the water is made out of. You will be able to breathe, but the waters will still be rather uncomfortable.
Did you also cast this for Connor Bane?
Yes, I did. I did that for all the group, in fact. All the groups, in fact. Even for the, well, thug people.
Nobody can swim.
No,
I mean, we are a town in the middle of a badland, you know? No one needs to swim.
I've never been in so much water.
Zarin will not question the Clockfather's judgment for casting it on the local thugs. Yeah,
Well, let's get in sorcereled and let's go.
If you wish to get his assistance right now, he can indeed perform the quick spell using his staff-like wrench, or rather his wrench-like staff, whatever of the two it is, tapping you on the shoulder, and the magic takes hold.
We're not going to get
Alright.
any more in this, so...
Thank you for the blessing of Bry, Clockfather.
I don't suppose he has the Orison that heals a hit point.
No.
No. It was worth it. Might.
He nods, smiles, and pauses for a moment and says, "Do take care of you. It is rather dangerous down there, I would assume, with all the people disappearing.
We will do our part, Clockfather.
As much as we want Connor back, take everything one step at a time."
That is what I... Zarin, looks down to his feet. Back out to the Clockfather.
Yes, just like that.
I will try my best, Clockfather.
Good. I should apologize to Miss Otterby now. Otherwise, I will never hear the end of it. She did suggest for people to just dump that trash into the pond and let the purification take care of the rest, but he sighs.
Shonda looks over to
Throw
her.
it aside, I'm sure it'll be fine.
I wouldn't bother, Father Kyle. She seems to be a bit of a bitch. And she sort of walks towards the water.
Well, the shrugs is... Why wouldn't it work?
He pauses. And then smiles as if that was a joke and keeps walking away.
Shrugs.
Zarin, Well, you see, Arothor, the reason why it would not work is that the amount of trash could completely overwhelm the pond and the water purification system that's been laid in place. There's already enough trash and pollutants within the water anyway. The system would be overwhelmed completely. We do not wish it to be taxed further.
Well, if a boot is dirty and you make it more dirty, you can still wash it with the same amount of water.
Yes, but then you would have to clean it twice as hard.
Frowns. It's not that hard.
Zoran, looks over with her and says, how many boots have you cleaned?
Frowns slightly. I generally don't bother.
Do you drink your boot?
Frowns said that would be impossible. Can't drink boots. They're not liquid.
With modern technology.
Smiles at the sort of frailty of the man's mind.
Is Rotor an android too?
I think he'd probably be insulted if you asked him that.
We did cook a boot once out in the field. Shonda mumbles to herself as they make their way up.
That is a last option for some.
It was at the end of a very unpleasant month.
Well, good to have experience in it, I suppose.
The
city looks like it's going to hell.
I wouldn't recommend it, honestly. The broth wasn't very nourishing.
Did you clean the boot first?
She snorts. Yes, extensively.
It's rare to find water when you don't have food out here.
Yes, well, we were caught up in a mountain pass.
I'd like to see a mountain sometime.
She sort of points at the hill. Well, imagine that, but way taller.
And I would not like to see one. These hills always carry with them bad omens.
Bad, what does that mean?
It says that the spirits of the world around them tend to be angry.
I don't see any angry hill spirits.
You can't see them. You can see things happening. For example, this or misfortune of the town is probably because of this.
I thought it was because of the torch and the disappearance of the councilman.
Yes.
A ghost in the mountain.
Not ghosts, spirits. She said.
Well, what's the difference?
I couldn't really tell you.
Well,
Describe the pond shape.
the pond is sitting on top of a small hill, looking somewhat like a volcano, except instead of hot things, it's just icky water coming out of it.